Hey guys, in this video I wanted to talk about a topic that I get asked about quite frequently for lifters who are going into their first powerlifting meet, or really any powerlifting meet. And that is the question of, should I cut weights for my powerlifting meets? And I think this is a really great question because at the elite level we always see powerlifters cutting weight. It's a part of very many weight classes for restricted sports, such as powerlifting, MMA, boxing, etc. We have weight classes. We are restricted to our weight classes just because more mass equals more force, and therefore you're going to compete in a weight class that's based off of how much your body weighs. It makes sense. So the question is, should I cut weight for my powerlifting meet? And my answer is it depends, and these are the caveats to that. So I would say that for the large majority of people, you should not cut weight for your powerlifting meet. And the reason why I'm going to say that is because powerlifting, and for most people, is just a hobby. It's just, I'm doing this for fun. I'm going to go and lift weights. I don't want to have, a ton of variability in my training cycle, in my performance during training. And the reality is that when you're cutting weight for your meets, there is going to be unless you do it really well, or you have a very unique genetic response to weight cutting, very resistant to it, you don't have your performance affected that much from it, you're going to be impacted on your numbers, and so you're going to need to adjust your expectations accordingly. And for most people, that's just not worth it. Powerlifting meets are supposed to be fun for most people, and you should go in and just focus on just hitting some big lifts, setting some PRs, that type of stuff, and not being concerned about cutting down to a weight class. Second thing to know about why I don't think that most people should cut weight is because cutting weight sucks. It's not fun to be dehydrated, to have to drink excess water for a few days. It's not fun to have to eat super weird foods like just low volume foods like chocolate and like whey protein and like no fruits and vegetables, and that's like all that you're having for your calories. It's not fun for most people. You do need to have a very high pain tolerance for it to be worth it. And so that's one other thing. Last thing, kind of going off of the last point, is that it's just, frankly, it's unhealthy to be cutting weight. Being dehydrated is not good for you. Restricting your food choices from essential vitamins and minerals is not a smart choice. Now, that's my overall opinion for most people, is just go in at whatever your training weight is, whatever you walk around at, whatever your weight class is, just go to weigh-ins, compete in that weight class. Now, for people where it might make sense to, is for people who are, one, obviously, like I mentioned earlier, who are at the elite level, who, there's a bigger incentive for them to cut weights. But for most people, we're not in the top 1% of lifters. I would say the main reason why you might want to cut weights is if you're going for a record in a certain weight class. So say you have a certain state record, or a national record, or a world record. That's when I would say that cutting weight is actually worth it. And most people are just not in a situation where they are going to be in that, in that realm of competitiveness. So with that being said, how much weight should you cut for your weigh-ins? I would say that for most people, no more than 3% of body weights for a 2-hour weigh-in, and then no more than 5% body weight for a 24-hour weigh-in. So the reason why I say that is because if you cut any more than that, you're not going to be able to perform very well at your meets. Also, if you're going to be doing this, you need to be able, be certain that you're having somebody help you out with this, that you're doing it properly. So after you weigh in, you can reconstitute properly, get hydrated, get back in the essential electrolytes that you did lose during the water and weight cuts, and then get your glycogen stores filled up again. So that's essentially my whole input on if you should cut weight or not for your powerlifting needs. I've had experience with cutting weight. Like, I personally don't like it. It's never been fun, but it's kind of a part of the sport if you want to be at the elite level or set records, because if you're a little bit heavier, we're just walking around more jacked, more muscular, and if you can't cut weight, and if you can't make that happen, then you're probably gonna have a better chance of getting a record. So that's my general input on whether or not I should cut a weight class. Hopefully you guys found this helpful. This is something that I get asked a lot, and I think that there's too much of an emphasis placed on weight cuts when there should be more emphasis on people going in, having fun, setting some PRs, and just lifting weights. Not worrying about the weight cut, because it adds additional stress, can really impact your performance if done improperly, and just isn't worth it for most people. So hopefully you guys like this video. If you guys that like it, please like it, and talk to you guys in the next one. Later.